Have you ever dreamed of visiting a place where one beautiful lake connects to another, like a natural staircase, or a cave filled with glowing stars? What about hidden pools shining in the middle of vast sand dunes? These aren't dreams, they're real. Our planet is full of strange and beautiful wonders. From multicolored mountains to a volcano with blue flames, these natural marvels will make you wonder if you're still on our planet. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Forever Green. Here are 20 of the most beautiful and magical places. So buckle up because you won't believe what you're about to see, especially when we unveil our number one pick. This place is so unique, so unbelievably stunning, you'll have to see it to believe it. 20. Waitomo Glowworm Caves, New Zealand. In the heart of New Zealand, there's a secret spot like a piece of space on Earth. The Waitomo Glowworm Caves. Picture this, you're quietly floating on a boat through a dark cave. Above you, it's not stars that twinkle, but thousands of tiny glowworms. These little critters light up the cave's ceiling with a bluish glow, creating an awe-inspiring scene that feels like you're gliding through the Milky Way. The primary allure here is the presence of the Arachnocampa luminosa, a glowworm species found exclusively in New Zealand. These caves have been a significant part of the local Maori culture for centuries. They were first explored in 1887 by Maori chief Tain Tanura, accompanied by an English surveyor. This natural light display, unique to these caves, transforms the whole experience into something straight out of a fantasy book. 19. Geyser Nevada USA. In the wide open spaces of the Nevada desert, there's a hidden gem that not many people know about, the Fly Geyser. This small, colorful mound is truly a sight to behold. The geyser, which was accidentally created during well drilling in 1964, shoots up hot water, forming a sort of mini volcano. But what really catches the eye are its colors: bright red, green, and yellow, painted by heat-loving algae. The contrast of these vivid colors against the desert's backdrop is something you'd expect in a painting, not in real life. The Fly Geyser isn't just another hot spring, it's a unique blend of human error and natural beauty, creating a scene that's both otherworldly and beautiful. Although located on private land, Fly Geyser is a unique and colorful geothermal geyser that can be visited on guided tours. The geyser's vibrant colors and odd shapes make it a fascinating sight for natural enthusiasts and photographers. 18. Kars Mountain of Guilin, China. In Guilin, China, there's a place that looks like it's straight out of a fairy tale. The Kars Mountains are these really tall and odd-looking limestone hills that just shoot up from the ground. They're surrounded by rivers that twist and turn, and the whole area is covered in this lush green blanket of trees and plants. It's super peaceful and looks like something you'd see in an old painting. The Kars Mountains have been inspiring Chinese poets and artists for thousands of years. What's really cool about these mountains is how they stand out so much from everything around them. They're not just hills, they're like giant sculptures that nature has carved out over thousands of years. The Kars Mountains provide a picturesque landscape perfect for river cruises, especially along the Li River. The region is also popular for hiking, photography, and exploring traditional Chinese villages. 17. Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming, USA. Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, USA is a truly wild and unique place. It's filled with geysers that burst with hot water and steam, and it's home to loads of hot springs. The most famous geyser there is called Old Faithful because it erupts pretty regularly, and it's really something to see. But Yellowstone isn't just about hot water shooting out of the ground. It's also got loads of animals like bison, elk, and sometimes even bears. The whole park is huge, and it's full of forest, rivers, and mountains. Yellowstone is the world's first national park and has a rich history in conservation. It's been featured in numerous documentaries and films, including the 2012 movie 2012 and the classic Yellowstone Kelly. Tourist highlights include the Old Faithful Geyser, the Grand Prismatic Spring, and the Yellowstone Grand Canyon. Before we go to our next place, here's a quick note. This video is from our ongoing series, Beautiful and Amazing Places from Around the World. You can watch more such videos in this playlist on our channel, Forever Green. And while you're here, remember to subscribe and click the bell so you won't miss any new videos. Alright, let's see what's next on our list. 16. Kawai Jen Volcano, East Java, Indonesia. In East Java, Indonesia, there's a volcano named Kawai Jen that's truly out of this world. At night, it lights up with these eerie blue flames. It's not something you see every day. This happens because there's sulfuric gas in the volcano. When this gas comes out and hits the air, it catches fire, glowing this intense blue. It's like watching a science fiction movie, but it's real life. During the day, Kawai Jen shows off another surprise, a lake that's bright, almost neon green because of all the sulfur in the water. It's a tough hike to get there, but seeing a volcano with blue fire and a green lake is something you won't forget. 15. Wat Tapu, New Zealand. Down in New Zealand, there's a place called Wat Tapu. It's a bit like stepping onto a different planet. The name means sacred waters in Maori, and it's easy to see why. The area is full of geothermal activity. This means that there are lots of hot springs, and each one is a different color. Bright yellow, deep green, even orange and red. These colors come from all the minerals in the water. One of the most famous spots here is the Champagne Pool. It's got this name because of all the bubbles that come up from the bottom, just like a glass of bubbly. Known for its geothermal wonders, including the Champagne Pool, bubbling mud pools, and colorful center terraces. It's a geothermal park where visitors can walk on well-defined tracks to explore the diverse and vibrant geothermal features. 14. Lençóis Maranhões National Park, Brazil. In Brazil, there's a place that's like a desert, but with a twist. It's called Lençóis Maranhões National Park. Picture huge sand dunes, just like in a desert, but between these dunes, there are crystal clear pools of water. It's really weird, but beautiful. These pools are formed by rainwater getting trapped between the dunes. So in one moment, you're walking on soft, dry sand, and the next, you could be swimming in a natural pool. The best time to see these pools is just after the rainy season, when they're at their biggest. It's like nature's own water park, set in what looks like a desert. Visitors often enjoy swimming in the lagoons, taking scenic flights over the dunes, and taking guided tours. 13. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. The Danakil Depression in Ethiopia is one of the hottest places on Earth, and it looks totally alien. It's really low, over 100 meters below sea level. The ground is covered in salt, and there are a lot of hot springs and volcanoes around. But what stands out the most are the colors, bright yellows, greens, and reds, all from the minerals and salts in the ground. It's super hot and harsh, but it's also strangely beautiful in a rugged way. Being there is like visiting another planet. The heat, the colors, and the whole landscape are just so different from anywhere else on Earth. This unique landscape is more of a natural wonder than a historical site. However, it was featured in the Brazilian film Casa de Areia. If you think this is amazing, just wait until you see number 1. It's really going to amaze you. 12. Nika Mine, Chihuahua, Mexico. Down in Chihuahua, Mexico, there's a place that's pretty much like Superman's Fortress of Solitude. It's called the Nika Mine. Inside this mine, there are enormous crystal formations that look like something out of a fantasy movie. Some of these crystals are so big, you could lie down on them. They were formed from super hot magma beneath the surface and over a really long time, and they just kept growing. The cave's deep underground, so it gets really hot and humid down there. You can't stay inside for too long without special gear, but the pictures of these giant crystals are mind-blowing. The cave is mostly inaccessible to tourists due to extreme conditions, but smaller crystals can be viewed in the nearby public cave. 11. Vadu Island, Maldives. Now let's talk about a tiny island in the Maldives called Vadu Island. This place is famous for something really magical called the Sea of Stars. What happens is, at night, the water starts to glow like a starry sky. It's not magic though, it's actually millions of tiny organisms in the water called phytoplankton. They light up when they get moved around by the waves. It's like nature's own light show, and it happens right on the shore of the island. Walking along the beach at night with the water glowing around your feet, it's like being in a dream. It's one of those things that you have to see to believe. This natural spectacle attracts visitors for beachside nighttime viewing, alongside the general allure of the Maldives' beautiful beaches and resorts. 10. Lake Hiler, Australia. Over in Australia, there's a lake that looks like a giant bubblegum bubble. It's called Lake Hiler, and it's bright pink. This isn't just a trick of the light or anything. The water is actually a vivid pink color all the time. Scientists think that it's because of the special algae and bacteria in the water that love salt. The lake is right next to the deep blue ocean, so the contrast is really striking. It's like someone took a paintbrush and colored the water pink. You can't swim in it, but the view from above is amazing. Due to its remote location, it's typically viewed on scenic flights, which offers a stunning aerial perspective of the lake's vivid pink hue, contrasted against the blue ocean. 9. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park, China. In China, there's a place that might make you feel like you've stepped into another world, or like you're in the movie Avatar. It's called Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. The park is filled with these huge, towering rock pillars that are covered in green plants and trees. The way they rise up out of the ground and the mist that often hangs around them make the whole place look mystical and unreal. Walking through the park, you're surrounded by these giant natural towers, and it feels both peaceful and a bit adventurous. It features breathtaking natural scenery, cable cars, and the world's longest and highest glass bridge, providing stunning views of the surrounding landscape. The park's beauty has actually inspired artists and filmmakers for years. It's a perfect example of how sometimes real places can be more breathtaking than anything we can imagine. 8. Reshot Structure, Mauritania. Out in the Sahara Desert in Mauritania, there's a huge eye-shaped formation called the Reshot Structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. It's so big that astronauts use it as a landmark from space. From above, it looks like a giant blue and brown bullseye in the middle of a sea of sand. It's not a crater from a meteor or anything like that, though. Scientists think that it was made by a volcano that collapsed and then got eroded over time. It's about 40 kilometers across, which is really big. And it's made up of different layers of rock that create the bullseye pattern. While it's not a traditional tourist destination due to the remote location, it's a popular spot for aerial photography and is often admired from space. The Reshot Structure is a cool reminder of how amazing and mysterious our planet can be, even in the middle of a desert. 7. Dion Waterfalls, border of China and Vietnam. Right on the border between China and Vietnam, there's a breathtaking site called the Dion Waterfalls. It's like nature's own border crossing, with water cascading down in a series of huge steps. These falls are among the largest in Asia, and they flow through a lush green landscape that looks like it's straight out of a postcard. The water crashes down over several tiers, creating a misty, magical atmosphere. The sound of the water is loud and powerful, but there's something really peaceful about it too. The area is accessible for visitors to enjoy these scenic views. They can take a boat trip and explore the surrounding natural beauty. It's a great spot for anyone who loves the great outdoors and wants to see how two countries can share something so beautiful. 6. Rainbow Mountain, Peru. High up in the Andes of Peru, there's a mountain that looks like a rainbow turned into a rock. It's called Rainbow Mountain, or Vinicunca in the local language. The mountain is striped with colors, deep reds, bright yellows, greens, and purples. These colors come from different minerals in the soil, and they're so vivid it almost doesn't look real. It's a bit of a tough hike to get up there, but the view is totally worth it. You're up above the clouds, looking at this incredible, colorful mountain that's like nothing else on Earth. 5. Victoria Falls, Zambia and Zimbabwe. Victoria Falls, which is on the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe, is a sight that'll take your breath away. Picture this massive wall of water, about a mile wide, just dropping off into a huge gorge. The locals call it Mosi Eotunya, which means the smoke that thunders, and you can see why. The falls create this huge spray that can be seen from miles away, and the sound is like thunder. When you're there, you can feel the mist on your face and the ground shaking a bit from the force of the water. One of the largest and most famous waterfalls in the world is a major tourist attraction for both Zambia and Zimbabwe. Activities include guided tours of the falls, boat tours on the Zambezi River, bungee jumping, and helicopter flights for aerial views of the falls. It's one of those places that shows you really how powerful nature can be. 4. The Wave, Arizona, USA. In Arizona, there's this really cool rock formation called the Wave. It's in the Coyote Buttes area, and it's nothing like you've ever seen. The wave is made of these smooth, flowing layers of sandstone that look like huge waves frozen in time. The colors are amazing too. Reds, oranges, yellows, and pinks all swirling together. It's a bit of a hike to get there, and you need a permit because they only let a few people visit each day to protect it. But once you're there, it's like being on another planet. The wave is a photographer's dream. But it's also just a great place to sit and take in how amazing and strange the world can be. 3. Iguazu Falls, Argentina and Brazil. Iguazu Falls, right on the border of Argentina and Brazil, is a place where you can really feel the power of nature. Imagine about 275 separate waterfalls all in one place, making this massive wall of water that's taller and even wider than Niagara Falls. The sound of all that water crashing down is super loud, and you can usually see these cool rainbows in the mist. The area around the falls is a lush rainforest, so it's like you're in this amazing jungle with monkeys, colorful birds, and butterflies. There's a walkway where you can get pretty close to the waterfalls, and on the Brazilian side, you can get a panoramic view that's just wow. Iguazu Falls is a place where nature's really showing off. And it's a must-see if you love epic outdoor adventures. 2. Hanson Dong. Hanson Dong in Vietnam is not your average cave. It's the largest cave in the world. So big that it has its own weather system inside. Imagine stepping into a cave so huge that it has its own jungles, rivers, and even clouds inside. Some parts of the cave are so tall, a 40-story skyscraper could fit inside. The cave was only discovered fairly recently in the last couple of decades, and it's a pretty wild place. Inside, you'll find massive stalagmites and stalactites, and sometimes the sunlight beams in through holes in the roof, lighting up the cave in a magical way. The world's largest cave, it offers a unique adventure for those who undertake the challenging trek. Guided tours provide an opportunity to explore its massive caverns, underground rivers, and unique ecosystems. Exploring Hanson Dong is like stepping into a world lost from a movie. And it's a real adventure for anyone who's into exploring the most amazing places on our Earth. Number 1. Plitvice Lakes, Croatia. Imagine a place where waterfalls connect one beautiful lake to another like a natural staircase. That's Plitvice Lake in Croatia. This park is home to 16 terraced lakes, each of a different shade of blue or green. The colors change depending on the minerals in the water and the time of year. Wooden walkways let you walk right over the water and through the heart of this watery wonderland. It's peaceful and pretty quiet except for the sound of waterfalls everywhere. The trees and forest around the lakes are home to all kinds of birds and animals, so it feels like you're walking through a fairy tale forest. Visitors can explore the park's extensive network of walkways and hiking trails, take boat rides on the lakes, and enjoy the rich biodiversity of the area.